Joined now by Andrea Adelson, ACC reporter for ESPN.com. And Andrea, you've been covering the Panthers since the Big East days, and now obviously in the ACC, the first year last year. What do you think of the Panthers and how they fit into this conference?
Well, I think they fit in well, especially when you take a look at the Coastal, completely wide open. I think they've got to be really happy they got into the Coastal as opposed to Syracuse and the Atlantic right now, given the way the division looks. But, you know, I think that given where this program has been and where it's going, I have very high expectations for Pitt this season. Love the skill players on offense. I know there's going to be some transition period on defense, but I think the secondary is going to be a lot better too. And there's a lot of people who think they could be a dark horse and potentially compete for the Coastal, and I'm one of those people.
And you talk about some of the other teams, and everyone's talking about North Carolina, and we saw them firsthand last year. What about that team makes them an intriguing pick for number one?
I think the skill position players. The running back position is loaded with depth, a lot of talent. They've got Quinshaw Davis, T.J. Thorpe, Ryan Switzer. I think he's a big reason. You know, Pitt knows what he can do, unfortunately for Pitt. With all of those touchdown returns, he is going to be a preseason All-American. And they have talent at quarterback, even though they haven't really decided on who is going to be playing that position. Marquise Williams did an unbelievable job guiding that team to a bowl bid after a terrible start to the season. Mitch Trubisky, they really like him coming in. He's a hand-picked player from Larry Fedora. Questions on defense, but I think just that star power on offense is a big reason why people believe in North Carolina this year.
The Panthers start kind of going across the division. Obviously, Delaware's the opening game, but a lot of people are looking forward to that Boston College game on September 5th. What can you tell Pitt fans about BC?
I think this is going to be a transition year for BC, just given who they lost. Andre Williams, a 2,000-yard rusher. I don't think you can replace a guy like that. And they're also going to be transitioning their offense a little bit to fit more of what Steve Addazio likes to do, that spread option. Weren't able to do that quite last year with Chase Reddick because he's more of a pocket passer. They do have the transfer from Florida, Tyler Murphy, who's eligible to play. He's their guy, but they've got questions at receiver. I mean, they've got nobody established there right now. They've got some running backs, nobody quite like Andre Williams. Their offensive line should be okay. Defensively, they were a little shaky last season, and so I think there's still some question marks there. I think BC can still potentially go to a bowl game, but I think it's going to be a lot tougher this year for the Eagles.
Back on the home front, James Conner and Tyler Boyd. As you look across the conference, obviously Jameis Winston gets a lot of attention. But with these two young players, are there better sophomores in the league besides these two?
They're pretty freaking good, and especially if Connor's going to be playing offense and defense. That's what I really want to see, how they're going to use him in that role. Is he going to be like a Miles Jack for this team? Because if he can do that, and if he's used effectively in that way, people are going to start paying attention to Pitt. Everybody loves those two-way guys, and they always get a lot of attention. So I'm looking forward to that. And obviously with Tyler, he's got such a great backstory. He's a nice guy. He's somebody you want to root for, and he's an amazing player based on what he did as a freshman. So that's a pretty good tandem. And I think a lot of people are also excited for Chad at quarterback as well. So, yeah, that's a big reason why I like Pitt for this year.
You've interacted with Paul Chryst now for a couple years now. Your thoughts on Paul and his direction with this program?
I think Paul's a great guy, and I think he's a good coach. And as we talked about, he was dealt a lot in his first year, given what's happened with this program and all the coaching changes and the transfers and people not wanting to be here, people not maybe being all in. I think everybody is all in with this program now with Paul. He's got a great demeanor with his players. You know, the players yesterday were talking about how they've never quite played for a coach like Paul, and I think that's a good thing because he doesn't fit your stereotypical coach mold. He's laid back, and he's just a real person. You don't feel like you're just being fed a line when you're talking to Paul, and I think there's something good about that. You get an honesty with him that you don't get from a lot of other guys, and I've had a great time getting to know him, and you know, I think he's got everybody moving in the right direction.
Andrew, thank you for your time.
Thank you.